Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. So, how are these wars squaring with what stocks our politicians are buying? Needless to say, things are fluid. New information is coming in every minute. So, I called in my good friend Ross Givens, and we're going to bring you this emergency broadcast to let you know about some of the insane stock buys and sells coming out of our corrupt globalist class in Congress. Actually, Ross is doing a really neat free training where he's going to give you the inside scoop of a lot of what's going on here. But here's the bottom line, okay? Multiple big players in Congress are buying General Dynamics, an aerospace defense company. Republicans seem to be buying energy and oil stocks, all the while Democrats are going big on cybersecurity. And of course, this is all happening as we now have these two massive wars breaking out in the Holy Land and, of course, in Ukraine. It's the ultimate black swan event. So Ross is here to help make sense of it all, and make sure you click on the link below to check out his free training that'll give you the inside scoop on a lot of this, what's going on. So, Ross, give us a sense of what we're witnessing here with these buys. What's being bought? What's being sold?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed it there. We get into some of the details, but as usual, as we've seen in every major event, the DC swamp was, of course, in the perfect position to profit from these events. And over the last month, like you said, they've been buying oil, they've been buying defense stocks, and these are stocks that historically always go up in times of crisis and war.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And again, this is what you cover in your free training. You can sign up for just by clicking on the link below. I mean, we know war is one of the primary ways the permanent political class enriches itself. I hate to be too cynical here, but do you see a possible like escalation in these conflicts from particularly the neocons and just to increase profits from these buys?
Yeah, I mean, it's as sad as it is, of course. They always do. We saw the same thing during COVID, and that was the last huge geopolitical event. We saw several senators sold all their stocks right after being briefed on the situation. They avoided the big sell-off. We had other ones buying Pfizer and J&J and these other pharmaceutical companies that made billions off the vaccines. More recently, a Democrat in the House was buying defense stocks the very day that Russia invaded Ukraine. And so now they are once again putting their money into the stocks that will no doubt benefit from this horrible situation.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of pundits are saying that the hostilities blowing up with Israel and Hamas, ironically, may actually be the off ramp that Washington elite needed with their failed campaign against Russia. For example, I read that Hamas per capita captured more territory in 24 hours than the Ukrainian counteroffensive was able to capture in 3 months. I mean, it's insane.
Wow.
So, do you see this as a possible pivot for Biden and the neocons?
Well, it's possible. And look, if you go back in history, every major military engagement has led to an increase in the value of these defense stocks, what's called these black swan events, as you called them. And they're called black swan events because they're unexpected.
Right.
So as bad as Russia and Ukraine is, that was a little bit more easy to predict. The unexpected stuff tends to come from these terrorist scumbags, like what we're seeing, like what Israel is dealing with. And 9/11 was no different. If you
Right.
look back, I know now it's 22 years ago, 23 years ago, but a year
Unbelievable.
after 9/11, and again, I'm just going to talk about the money side of it, what I feel like I have some knowledge on. A year after 9/11, the market was down 20%, but defense stocks soared.
Wow.
General Dynamics, which you mentioned, was up 46% that year. Lockheed Martin, 82%. Northrop Grumman up 67. Now, back then, Congress was not required to report their trades, but I would be shocked if they did not own these stocks and profit from them. And luckily today, we can see these trades. We can see what they're doing. We can buy when Congress and others and these other insiders get in. And that's what we show people in these training videos, which we're going to be doing this Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern time as well, if everybody wants to join us for that. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this and show the specific stocks being bought, where the opportunity is, and how to really position yourself to not only protect your wealth, but grow it during these uncertain times.
Yeah, that's what I love about your free trainings is you show us how they do it in DC, and then actually we can piggyback on that as well.
Right.
But yeah, but well, hopefully we're not getting bribed in the process like they are, right?
No.
No, we just want to feed our families. But
Yeah.
now, one thing that came up that again, I have to say, I mean, this is I grew up with this. Well, it was a sense of pride or something that I grew up in a country that prided itself on being able to fight two large scale wars at the exact same time, just like we did with World War II coming out. And that was part of our national security. We had to be able to fight two large scale wars at any time. And I always thought, oh, that's pretty impressive country, pretty impressive nation. Says a lot about our ingenuity and our industry. But now the cynic, I've got to be honest with you, Ross, the cynic in me comes out and goes, oh, wow, how convenient, dream come true for defense
Yeah.
contractors, right?
Without a
I
doubt.
mean,
Yeah, no, and you're totally right. I mean, it's funny because you and I talked about this before. That Biden, I think, came out and said we could sustain two these full scale wars, and the funny thing is, we can't even sustain ourselves.
yeah,
Right? This country. Let me tell you the numbers. This country took on $1 trillion of debt in a month. Dr. Steve,
yeah, it's
the
crazy.
national debt hit $1 trillion for the first time in 1981. So let's put that in perspective. From 1776 to 1981, for 205 years, we borrowed $1 trillion. Now we borrow that in 30 days. So it
Dang,
is
man.
laughable to hear
Dang.
someone say we can sustain and support these two large scale wars. I mean, it's almost too easy to poke fun at Biden at this point. He's just feeding us up. But it's the irony strikes me about this because this is coming from a guy who claims he wants to fight inflation, who claims he wants to bring auto prices down. Meanwhile, he goes down to the picket lines to support these United Auto Workers who want a 40% pay increase, who want a 4-day work week. I mean, that's obviously going to drive, car prices
Right,
higher.
prices
But
up. Yeah, yeah,
I'm a follow the money guy, as you know, and the military industrial complex is the one benefiting from this.
right.
What have we given Ukraine? You know better than me. 50, 100 billion, something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, at least
This,
300 billion or so now at this
I
point.
mean,
Yeah.
look, we're not writing. People hear that number. We're not writing them a check. This is
Right.
not a Wells Fargo wire transfer. Okay, we are sending them $100 billion worth of tanks and missiles and,
Right.
and defense systems and radar. What do you think makes this stuff?
Right.
It's General Dynamics, it's
Right.
Raytheon, it's Lockheed Martin. And so these are the companies benefiting. And that's why Congress own these stocks. That's why they're buying these stocks. And it's why you want to be following the trades of these political and corporate insiders so you can buy the same stocks that they are. And again, you're totally right. This is just a dream for defense contractors.
Ross, tell people where they can learn more about how to capitalize on these big market movements, grow their own portfolios. Obviously, a lot of us don't have time to keep track of the market and what it's
Yeah.
doing. You've been doing this for years. Give them a sense of what they can learn from you.
Well, what people don't realize is that these insider trades. Now, Congress, of course, our politicians in Congress report their trades in 45 days. So there's a bit of a lag time on those. But the real money's made with these corporate insiders. So you take the CEO, the CFO, vice presidents, board members at companies like Raytheon, at companies like Lockheed Martin. We can see when they are buying their own stocks with their own money in their own account in real time. And historically, they've got a phenomenal track record of both timing the lows, which is what you
Mhm.
want to do as an investor, and getting in before these big shifts. And it's simply because they have access to better information. And so what we do is track all this activity. We share it with our members. We show them how to find this information, again, in near real time, and take the same advantage they have and use it for yourself. Like you said, piggyback these trades. So, for example, right now, obviously Congress is buying defense. They're buying energy. Well, the corporate insiders are doing the same thing. So we're seeing insiders buy RTX, buy Lockheed Martin, buy Boeing, all in the last few months. We're seeing the same thing at Exxon and Tidewater and High Peak Energy and more than 20 other oil and gas stocks. Meanwhile, Ford, which of course is going through this worker strike and driving prices and lower sales, no one at Ford has
Hmm.
bought a single share of that stock in more than a year and a half.
Wow.
So if you just follow the money, right? If you want to make money in stocks, You watch the CFO, the CEO, the vice presidents, these in the know executives, when they're buying their company stocks with their own money. These are the best stock tips you're ever going to get. It's
Yeah.
how you're going to make money. And we teach people exactly how to do that. In addition, like for people like yourself who are like, look, I'm busy. I get it. It makes sense, but I don't want to do all the research. We also run a service. We share this with all of our members in real time and just notify them. We see these big opportunities of a stock where several insiders are buying totally out of the blue with big money. Does it work 100% of the time? No, sometimes it's a coincidence. But oftentimes there's events like this that are just too good. They know about the $5 billion defense contract. They know about a pipeline that's going to explode and oil prices are going to go nuts. And so they're loading the boat. They're doing what any of us would do and taking advantage of that information. So we show people how to do the same thing and to make money for themselves. So we do these free trainings usually once a month or so. We are having one. It's funny you called me. We have one coming up this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yep, it's October the 14th, Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern. As you know, these are all online.
Yep.
They're 100% free to attend.
Yep.
All you got to do, click the link below, register, show up on Saturday. I'll show you everything. It took me 10 years to learn, and I promise you're not going to look at stocks the same way again.
Oh, it's awesome. And don't wait. That's important too. Ross's events almost always fill up and fill up very fast. So you don't want to wait on this. You'll definitely want to click on that link below right now. And you're going to absolutely love it. I've been through Ross's training myself multiple times, and they're always so good. So click on that link below. Sign up now. Again, 11 a.m. this Saturday. And Ross is going to blow your mind. Thanks so much, Ross, for keeping tabs on all this craziness that's going on in our world and in our stock market. It's very appreciated.
Man. Energy and defense.
There you go, man. All right. God bless.
Take care.